different spectrum. Don't just lock your song in a box
That's
because you
correct.
never know. You never know what you're doing when you just put that song in a box and lock it away. So let that song go free, man.
That's
Indeed, you
right.
went off
That's
on
right.
that. Dope, dope. So listen, man. Now you just released today, fresh off the presses, Stranger. And we know there's also a video that's going to be premiere on the 13th at
Yeah.
4 p.m. And we already set our notifications. We're already locked in there so we can catch that right off the presses so we can run with that as well. But, tell us, what is the story behind Stranger? What can we expect from the visual? And like, what do you want people to, take away once they're listening to that song?
So oftentimes when we're in difficult situations or we become rebellious, we walk away from God.
Mm-hmm.
So Stranger is really God talking, not not me, the singer. It's God saying, "Hey, I hear you. I hear you're about to make this decision. You're gonna wander off, and I'm telling you, you're making a mistake. However, I'm still here. Don't be a stranger. You can come back home." So it's the story of the prodigal son, really,
Okay.
or the prodigal daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Very simple. He said, "Don't be a stranger. Anytime you're in need, call on me because I'm waiting for you. I prefer if you stay, but you have a choice." And so if you have made that choice, just remember when you find yourself in difficulty, you can always call on me.
And
I only
and
want, as the song said, I only want what's best for you. If you
yes,
walk away, that won't change that. I still do.
I love that. And I guess and also too, clearly it's biblically sourced. And then from the writing process, what was the writing process with this? Was this co-written as well, or
Oh,
you
it
wrote
is.
this?
I would say I did very limited work in this, although I'm credited for like I did a lot. So I had this idea, a big idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's on. So I when I release Free, uh, one of my biggest plug in South Africa is King D. He worked
Okay.
with a producer there called P Temple. And
Mm-hmm.
because of that relationship, he heard one of the songs that I did, which is Free, and we had some conversation. He's like, "Bro, I love your voice. I'd love to work with you." And I said, "I'm open." He said, "What were you thinking?" I said, I'm having an idea that I want to do an Afrobeat song. I've not gone on an Afrobeat
Mm.
rhythm." So he was like, "Cool, I can send you something." And he sent me something. I said, "This is this is dope." But I said, "This is not the feel as I wanted." I
Mm-hmm.
said, "I think I want give me a I'm a piano."
Okay.
And he sent that. My best friend who's a doctor in Canada heard it and said, "You know, you're a joker." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Bro, the track is fire." I said, "I love it, but
Mm.
I'm going to focus on the I'm a piano." He said, "Bro, I'm telling you." So this was how God orchestrated everything. I was supposed to write with my producer because we do a lot of writing together.
Okay.
That that didn't work out, so I hit up a friend, Chris Jackson, gold pen. He has. I tell him, no joke. I say it before his face and I say it behind his back. He's extremely talented when it comes to writing. We have
Mm.
known each other on Facebook for years, had brief conversation, but we have never worked. I just sent him a message and he sent me back a message and I said, "Bro, let's do this." He said, "What were
Wow.
you thinking?"
Mm-hmm.
Very simple, very organic. He said, "I've been thinking to write gospel," because he writes a lot of R&B. He has written for
Mm-hmm.
Tank. He has written for quite a few other artists, major artists in Asia. And I want to shout out his name again, Chris Jackson.
Chris
So
Jackson. Okay.
he said he's from New York, but he lives in LA. So he said, "Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna call you. You sing what you have, write it out, and let us see. Let us set a time." We set a time. We started the writing process. It was like, "Okay, I think I know what you're doing. I'm gonna take a few days, make it tight. Do you want me to record it?" Very easy to work with. I said, "Yes,
Wow.
record it." So he tightened up the lyric,
Mm-hmm.
um, and he sent it back to me. And I was like, "This is crazy." So I have to give. He gives me credit, but I have to give him put the credit back at his feet. And I thank God for allowing us to the both of us talents to come together to create something that
Wow.
I think is a beautiful work. Then he connected me with his engineer in LA because I was supposed to record it again with the producer that I was working with. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working out, so I flew to LA. Um, Derek, awesome guy, and then he hooked it up with a major person when it comes to mastering in the hip hop world and rap
Wow.
and R&B, and so Um, we have by million, I think $1 million snare. Awesome job, and that's the song.
Wow. See, I see Dallas. Shout out to Dallas Fort. Dallas is saying Chris is a good man. So Dallas
He
is
is a
also
good
saying
guy,
Chris,
very
Chris is
good
good.
guy.
Chris is
Yeah,
good for sure. But you see, and listening to everything that what you're even mentioning just now, just for the fact for all of that to be lined up, that's not something you could have planned, right?
I
All of
could
that
not,
had you couldn't have planned that. That
I
had
couldn't
to have
have.
been just based on purpose. So even, just touch a bit on purpose and just, just availing yourself to what God has out there and even trusting that He's going to do the right thing. Because I'm sure going into this, you had your plans, you
Yeah,
had what you think you wanted to do. But,
yeah,
even taking a chance and reaching out to that person to say, hey, knowing that you guys haven't worked together before, but, you're reaching out that, even with me, if I'm reaching out to someone, even for an interview, I'm in my own head sometimes. I'm like, this person might respond, they may not
yeah.
respond back. There's all these other things that you're thinking about. So you went with it, and then all these chips just kind of fell into place. So what, touch a bit on purpose for us.
So this entire project that I've worked on is titled Arrow.
Hmm.
So I have two more songs. I have three more songs to release. So I'm giving you a lot of what I'm have in store.
Nice,
And
nice.
the title track is Arrow. Why I titled it Arrow is because you know what the purpose of the arrow is for, right? It's to hit the target,
Mm-hmm.
but it needs a master archer to direct the arrow. And so I am that arrow, and
I like
God is
that.
my master archer. So
Mm.
I would say to anyone, whatever you know or think your purpose is, and you're working at it, submit it to God because He's a creator. And it's always best. I never many times I felt like giving up and stop from doing music, but what's the purpose? Why am I doing music? Is it for fame? Is it for notoriety?
Yeah.
It's because I want to impact change. I want to give hope. I want to point people to the Savior. I
Mm-hmm.
also want to remind them that He's coming because I think sometimes as Christians we lose that part.
Yes.
I'm pointing people to the fact that they need to repent from sin. And so, if that's my aim and my objective, I have to go back to the source, the one who gave me this gift, constantly submitting it to Him and asking Him for direction. And as we're having this conversation, it's quite interesting. My best friend came up with the idea. I told him what I wanted to do, and he said,
Mm-hmm.
go ask the cinematographer if he will work with you to make everything come together.
Yeah.
And I followed that. So I have to tell Danny Matthews, thanks for deciding to come on board and being a part of the team and understanding what my plans are, the objective is, what I'm trying to achieve, and supporting that with his talent. Um, so I say to anyone, submit your talent, submit your will to God, and He will direct you.
Awesome, awesome. I agree. I agree with that 100%. And I just pinned the comment there from Pete Temposa. He said, shout out to my brother K. Anthony. We did magic on Stranger. It's a blessed record.
He is an awesome guy. Very simple. Very, you know, as I said, the best relationships or success sometimes birth from some organic situation, and he's also one of those type of guy, not fussy, extremely talented, but it was so straightforward. He appreciated what I had to offer. I appreciated what he had to give, and we decided to make it work and support each other. And I think we're on to something.
I think so too, man. So you got three more left to drop. I heard you mention that
And
you got
he's responsible for the next one coming up, and it's something very interesting. Believe me.
oh man, trust
You
me.
remember what I said
Listen.
about you remember what I said about nobody?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I don't have to say much about Stranger. Stranger speaks for itself, but the
Yeah.
next one,
Listen, man. I'm excited because we're along on this journey with you now. We're along on this
I
journey
appreciate you guys so
as you're
much.
releasing something. I know your team is gonna reach out to us. Shout out to Sharon because she's been doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
You know,
she
her and Vision PR, they've been doing an amazing job on that side as well too of just getting us all the right information. So I know
yes,
we're gonna know once it comes out, we're going to share it on the platform. We're going to be adding it to our Spotify playlist and just, making the people aware because there's, not to say there's a shortage of good music, but really good quality music that is biblically sung, that is backed with really good visuals. Because, truth be told, we're living in a very visual world, right?
very
So, if we're
yes,
in a visual world, and if the secular side of things is competing with all of these visuals and they're bringing
yes,
their A game, and we're in the
yeah.
kingdom, God has called us to be, to be leaders, not followers. So, we have to
That's
bring
right,
our A game. We have
all the
to. And that
time.
was one of the first thing again, because I'm very visual with what we're doing, what we're presenting
Mhm.
to our audience. And even when I went to your page and I'm going through, shout out to Sincere, what's going on, guys? And even, when I went to your page and I'm looking at everything and with the colors, with the visual, with with the lyrics, just everything was just spot on, professional, A1, 100% your team. Again, super easy to work with. When I reached out and I got redirected and I started the conversation and we were going back and forth trying to lock down dates and all that. And those are the things that kind of resonate with me because again, if you may be super talented, but if you have the wrong team around you,
Yeah,
that can push people back. Because if I reached
yes,
out to someone from your team and they're very abrasive, oh, I don't think he can do this because of blah blah blah, and it just comes over super, standoffish, I'm already gonna be
yeah.
like, all right, let me, strike this one to the
Go
side,
somewhere
right?
else. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but that was not the case. Your team was awesome, so I had to take a minute just to shout out your team. I know we're almost at the top here, but I want to kind of just loop back around. I'll have you share all your socials and everything because you got a whole lot that's coming down. You guys are, definitely very, very focused. You got a lot that's going on, but in a world right now that there's so much distractions that's around us, right? Anytime you pick up your phone, anytime you're doing anything, you turn on the television, there's everything that's competing for your time, for your attention. You got to be so careful and so mindful with being present, even when you're having conversations with people, not
Mhm.
being distracted, just being present. Like, what are you, how are you doing in terms of, what are you doing rather just to stay focused, stay on task with your music, with your ministry, with your family? Like, how are you navigating all these distractions that are out there?
It's never easy, but it, when you remind yourself what you're about, the mission you're on, it kind of put rails on you.
Mm-hmm.
Or for those who are familiar with horse racing, almost blinders.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always consumed with my goals, what I'm trying to get done, what I'm trying to achieve. And obviously, if I'm shooting videos for 4 or 5 songs,
Mm-hmm.
I have to be busy. If I'm recording X amount of songs, I have to be busy. So is try to spend as much time with family, try to spend as much time in the word so that you have something to give. Because if you don't spend time in the word, you will have nothing to share really.
Yeah.
Or what you will have to share is will come from yourself and not from God. So you have to align yourself, plugged in, keep plugged in with the source. I have worship every single night with my family. So
Wow, that's beautiful.
that's something I'll tell anyone to do. Have worship with your friends, have worship with your family, spend time, reflect like tonight, reflect on the week that have passed and how you have been kept. You could have died.
Yeah.
You're not in the
Wow.
hospital. Um, you're not hungry, or if you're hungry, you have shelter. So look back on the things that God has done for you throughout the week and how you
I
are
like that.
able to be try to be grateful. And so that's
I love
so for
that.
me, I my time is I'm honestly always busy either promoting, helping with promotion, or I'm having some other conversation with someone or like this, having interviews or yeah, staying busy in what my purpose is.
I love that. Staying busy and what your purpose is. But what you said just now also too, really stood out to me. Just having a heart of thankfulness, right? I
Yep.
think sometimes that and I myself is guilty of it sometimes, I'm like, oh, I'm looking forward, I want to do this, I want to do that. But even discussions with my wife, she'd be like, you're saying all of these things that as if you have not done all that. Like look back on the year
Yes.
you've done this,
Yes.
you've done that, you've done all these different things. And it's like whenever those conversation comes up, and a lot of it comes sometimes too from our drives as
Yeah.
individual. We want to achieve, we want to be successful, we want to do all these different things, but at the same time you can't lose that spirit of thankfulness. So I'm glad you said that again,
So
and that's something I'm going to echo too. Yeah.
I'm gonna share a story before you we end.
Hmm.
So I was working with a producer. His name is Sean Hill. Very good, very cool guy. He's in Atlanta, and he needed some horns done on a particular song that we were working on. And he reached out to this gentleman by the name of Keith Everett Smith that works with Toby Mac. His wife is Tasha Layton. They are phenomenal musician and singer and songwriter. And we talked, and I decided to go. We decided to do some work on a song that I did a few
Okay.
years ago titled "The Cure."
Hmm.
And I went there. I flew there, went from the airport straight to the studio, recorded that song because I needed to fly back the next day. Did the
Hmm.
entire recording, and I went back to my hotel. And my best friend called me, and he was like, "How did it go?" And I tell him that I did well. I think I nailed it, and they were happy. And it was I can be hard on myself. It was the first time he said, "Have you looked on your?" He said to me, "Have you looked on your life?"
Mm.
So he is my sounding board, and he's also my the person that will, if I ever even think of being bigger than myself, to pull me back.
I love that. We all need that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, "Have you looked on your life and see what God has done for you? I know you have a very high standard." And when he was saying that to me, I was looking out through the hotel window.
Hmm.
And for I looked at myself as a country boy. I'll talk patois now.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah. Yeah.
country boy from Jamaica, God who had a dream, not even having the idea how this dream would come to life.
Yeah.
Never in my wildest imagination have I ever thought that I would be in Nashville recording. And that was what he was saying to me. It came home so strong to
Wow.
me. It was,
Mm.
he said, "Do you see what God has done with you, man? He took me from Jamaica, brought me to Canada, and brought me in the US where I was recording in Nashville." For some people, that seems like nothing.
No, that's huge. Yeah.
But if you look back down at the step at the ladder where you're coming from, you'll see how God has kept you, or how God
Wow.
has been faithful, how
Yes.
God has navigated you through some very turbulent things that you never even knew how you were gonna get through.
Yeah.
And that for me was like a pride moment. I said, "Wow, you, I have this idea, and yet still you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to support what I'm doing on my this mission, but you
Mm-hmm.
have done it. Even when I thought I could not do it,
Wow.
even when I thought that my voice is nothing special to hear, because I
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
those moments too."
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Where self tells me that, listen, you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
You can't sing like this person. You see, they're achieving everything you are not. But take the moment to breathe and to, as a gentleman once said from a famous TV program in Jamaica on stage, he called me one day and he said, "Pat yourself." And he said, "You have done
Mm.
well." And I don't
Wow.
often do
I
that. And
love that.
sometimes you need to take a step back. The hard work that you have put in on your program, not complimenting yourself, but be thankful by patting yourself that God has given me a job to do and I'm doing it.
Love
And
that.
I'm doing a good job at it. And I think
I
at
love
times as
that.
human beings, we need to take a break and tell ourselves that you're doing a good job. Continue, work harder. But in the
Love.
moment, be grateful.
I love that. Y'all, as you're tuning in, we were speaking with Kate Anthony here, and that right there just blessed my own soul right now. Even going into the weekend, we gotta take stock. We gotta pat ourselves on the back. We gotta be thankful for every step of the journey. Don't wait
Yes,
until you're at the end of the road and you have achieved it all, before you measure your measure of success. Like the fact that you're here, you're doing it every step of the way, you're closer to where you want to be. That's how you go measure success. You measure success
yes.
in increments, you know, not in its completeness. So I love that. I love that for sure.
And I also
Anthony,
measure success by, have I accomplished the purpose that God has given to me?
yeah.
Because success might mean to one individual of a Grammy
Mm-hmm.
or Stellar Awards or whatever. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
fine. But for me, purpose is a little bit more. Purpose is more about accomplishing the task that God has given to you. And if it was to bless one person, if it was to point one person to Jesus Christ, or in the midst of a crisis when someone feel like committing suicide, they had to stop and think because God had placed something in your heart to write, and they heard it and stopped, you would have accomplished your task. You'd have,
Yes. That's it. That's it right there. And I think and that's good that this is like your fourth time you mentioned the word purpose tonight. And I think that's transparent in and of itself, that you're not just doing this thing for any other reason than to fulfill purpose. And that's very evident, because it's one thing I've learned over the years of doing interview. There's certain things that comes up subliminally if someone is saying it over and over. And definitely purpose was one of those things for you. So, that's great to see that you're on that mission, that you're looking at purpose, that you're focusing on that. And trust me, man, you keep in that direction, everything else will make its way, because that's just what it is. You got your eyes on purpose. Yo, when you go back and you listen to it, I'm gonna have and K. Anthony share his socials, but he's already dropped three amazing singles to date this year. He's dropped a whole other stuff. He has a full project out there as well, but he's dropped a lot of stuff. But this year he dropped I Saved It All, Nobody, and Stranger today, as in today, fresh off the presses. Y'all go listen to that, because we're gonna be blasting it again. Y'all go listen to that. And then also too, the music video for Stranger is gonna be dropping and premiering on the 13th. So that's happening at 4 p.m. So whether if you're in LA, that's gonna be 1 p.m.
yes,
Your time, 4 Eastern is gonna be all over. Hey Gene, shout out to the Bay Area. So, you guys go ahead, listen listen to that, and you want to go ahead and also share your socials, Anthony, because I know you got a whole lot more
Yep.
before the end of the year. So go ahead and share your social. I see IG giving us the 2 minute warning, so go ahead and share your
So
socials.
so for Facebook it's K Anthony Live. For Twitter it's K Anthony Live. And on Instagram it's K Anthony Live. And if for YouTube you can go and type in K hyphen Anthony for all streaming platform.
Awesome. Listen, man, I know you have a whole lot more. We definitely got to bring you back on.
Yes.
It looks like Instagram is telling us we got a minute left, but
Yep.
it's all good. We just wind down, but we got to bring you back on when you're doing, when you're ready to drop all these different things. We'll stay in touch with your team. Appreciate you, man. Continue to pursue purpose. Everything else will find you, and appreciate you, brother. Have a great weekend ahead, man.
And a big shout out to you guys. I appreciate you and thank you for the support.
Of course, not a problem. Have a good one, man. Take it easy.
Yep.